All right, guys, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Just got off, watched a beautiful sunset, and just out there sitting and reflecting. I'm going to mute something real quick. Sitting and reflecting today, and was thinking about what is the goal of this channel? What is my next goal? What is the goal of this channel? And I don't know about you, but I only want one thing. I want to buy my time back. I want enough money to release my dependency upon this modern bullshit world. I'll tell you, if you live in the States, the United States of Israel, we've got war, we've got zero trust in these politicians, we've got people making moves without us, we've got people who can't make the rent, and I have been blessed beyond anything I could have ever have imagined 10 years ago, sitting inside of a prison cell, and then today, sitting inside my dream house and in a financial position where I am okay for the next couple of years. But I'll tell you, it's not good enough. The type of person that I am, I always need a dragon to slay, and I always feel like I'm being divinely guided upon what really is the next thing. And I know that you guys are there too. I know that you guys got into this crypto thing because you want a better life. If you guys are anything like me, you don't want the Lambo. You don't care about bragging. I mean, shit, I can barely even buy myself any clothes without feeling guilty. As long as my kid is in the next room and absolutely taken care of, and I don't have to wake up and sit in traffic and go to some job that I absolutely hate. It's just soul sucking. And I know that you know that in this trading, this exists, but really, you have to stop making the stupid human errors, because a huge part of this trading is it relies upon human error. It relies upon these little things that you do, this fear, this greed, this impatience, and it's these things that continuously suck people's accounts dry. So, today, we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit about asymmetric risk. We're going to talk a little bit about order flow, and we're going to talk a little bit about examples of the person you want to become. And I want to ask you, is there a living example of what you want? I have living examples of what I want. I have living examples of people who have gone from $5,000 to making, I mean, shit, last year I watched one guy, shout out Severin, Chart Champions. I watched him make I think it was like 150 grand in a week. Now, he put in the work and he really waited patiently. He wasn't gambling, but he stacked up those W's, and he actually had a monstrous week. Now, do these weeks come all the time? Should your chapter, whatever you're at, should be chasing somebody else's chapter? No. If you have 100 grand and you have zero life experience around this trading game, you're probably going to lose 100 grand. The person who has $5,000 but who has that time and confidence is in a much better spot than the person who has $250,000 in the market with no experience. So let's talk a little bit about asymmetric risk. First thing we want to do is we want to zoom out on the chart. And when you're looking at these zones here, and of course my trading view is freezing up. Give me a break. Okay, there we go. Now you tell me, where is the zone here of asymmetric risk? Now, asymmetric risk is where you have a zone. Usually it is at these highs and at these lows where there exists some kind of other area of confluence, right? There's something sitting down here below the highs and the lows that can really fake out. And when price tends to come on up here and then everybody's thinking, that's it, we're going to go up. That's a lot of times when you have the best reason to short the market, because the zone here, like if we're going to look at this just briefly, we're going to take our fixed range volume here and we are going to look here. We're just going to drag from there to current price action. And we can see that right around here, once we break this high, right? We break this high here, there's not much resistance. So we know that historically, most likely from a probability standpoint that we're going to cut right through here, right? We're going to introduce some resistance here. We can have our other ways to look at levels. We can see where those levels stack up. I have multiple videos here of how to look at where the market's going, what's in its way. But these areas of asymmetric risk are the best zones for you to be paying attention to the trade. So let's talk a little bit about right now what happened today. Today is Sunday on the West Coast. We can see here we're having a little bit of a bump here, right? And there's a couple things that we want to focus on, right? So we want to say that we are nearing the top of our asymmetric risk zone, right? So we know that the liquidity, all the stop losses are living right above here, right? This could mean that we come up here, we see a fast rejection, maybe a little bit of a market structure change, and then we come back down in here into value. Or we could very easily come on up here, flip this, and then just rip to the upside. This is why these asymmetric risk zones are very, very, very profitable. Now, there's some other things that we want to take into consideration. We want to come on over here. This is Arkham. And as you can see right now, what do we have here? We have here a large open interest, some calls here, calling for that $73,000 area with a strike date of March 27th, right? March 26th, March 27th. So we want to be very, very, very aware around that time. We're probably going to see a lot of activity, right? Because this is when these options are going to roll over. So a lot of people are going to be exercising these positions. They're going to be, just selling these calls. And we are in that strike zone, right? We are getting up into that strike zone. So for that, we want to go over here to the CME, right? The Bitcoin CME. And one thing that I want to show you is that we have hit the important anchored VWAP here on the CME. Now, the market structure hasn't changed. We are still going up, up, up. And if we even look at the delta, we can see that we are still growing open interest with positive delta. We are seeing some pullbacks on negative delta, but everything is saying that the market is still strong going up, right? So when you're looking to short, you want to really be in an asymmetric risk zone, but you want to see these longs under pressure. You always want to ask yourself when you're looking at the market, say who's in control, who's uncomfortable, where does the market need to go to make them more uncomfortable? Because this is one of the things that a lot of people are lacking when they're trading, is they're not thinking of where is the discomfort zone, right? They're usually thinking about themselves. They're very selfish traders, very selfish people. They're not thinking, where is somebody uncomfortable, right? Where is there a large increase of open interest with that positive delta? Then we can know that once the market dips underneath that zone, we can know that they're going to be forced into a decision. And there's nothing more powerful than knowing when somebody's going to be forced into a decision, because that's where you start to see those really fast moves, right? You start to see those really fast moves. Now, what a lot of people do is they chase those fast moves. And I want to remind you that it's not the tidal wave that you need to worry about. On the coastline, right here on the Pacific coast, it's not the rogue wave that everyone's worried about. It's the million little teeny tiny, gently relentless waves that are pounding and pounding the landscape. So I want to tell you, be the tide. Do not be the wave. Do not be the storm. If you were going to surf out on a beach one day, you wouldn't say, there's a great wave. I need to get on my board and run into the water and try to catch that wave. No, you would say to yourself, okay, there's possibly a good swell coming in. Let me be prepared. Let me get into the water. Let me know, strike my route. Let me know where it's not too crowded. The market moves a lot like the ocean. So with that being said, I'm going to show you what I am looking at next. Quite simply, I have some zones here, and I'm not telling you to trade these zones. I'm going to go over here to the Bybit chart, and because I'm recording here, it's probably going to need a little extra time. A little extra time. So right here, I've got my next swing trades. My next swing trade zones are going to be right down in here, right into this big this big level of support right down in here. Now, what am I going to be looking for in there? Well, in here, I'm going to be looking for a reversal pattern, right? I'm not just going to be looking for that SFP because there's a lot of liquidity that can be scooped up here. Now, that's for my next long. My next short, I'm going to be looking up here at this 88,000 to 90,000 area, right? I've got a daily, a weekly, a value area low that is a previous value area low that's right in that area. A lot of stuff stacking up there. And also I have, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here. Also, I have this all-time high anchored VWAP making its way down to that zone. So this might need, like, let's say here we come down, this might need, who knows, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to happen. But this is going to be my next short. Right now, I'm lightweight looking for a rejection off this anchored VWAP, but I would want to see a sweep of these highs. Now, what would I need for this to confirm that it's going to be a good trade? Well, I want to see a fast rejection. I want to see that SFP with some trap traders. Now, keep in mind that we have built a good level of support on our way up. We can see open interest rising. We can see that positive delta. So it's not like people are just going to long up here and they're going to be caught off sides. They've been building this zone up here for quite some time, which makes me believe that this could easily flip this anchored VWAP and be on its way right up there, because there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to believe that the move is real. There's a lot of people who are waiting to short this area right here. So you have to be ready to you have to keep your risk in check. And if you are going to long here, you really have to trail your long. Market structure is always king. So if you do take the long here, you know it's probably going to be a squeeze, but this is really where you want to pay attention to your delta, your open interest. You want to see those orders coming in. You want to see who's going to get squeezed, what the temperature is of the market, just like riding a wave, right? You want to pay attention to it. Is it starting to crest? Is it still coming down? Is the wave breaking good? So with that being said, those are my next swing trades. I want to go over real quick what I'm looking at as far as my next scalp trades, or more of just a little bit of a, little bit of a lower time frame. So right now, currently, we have built up some. We have here a value area high and a naked daily point of control, value area high of the upper range. So we have these areas here. I am more prone for the 70,650 for, maybe Monday, you know how Mondays are. We come down here, we test support, and then we just keep on going. If we don't tap this anchored VWAP, we'll be looking for a volume reaction. I want to see high volume. I want to see what that volume was. If I see a bunch of shorts coming in right here, right there, I'll probably wait for one last washout. One thing that I've realized of trading Bitcoin for years is that it waits to catch people off sides. It doesn't typically let people have a free ride for long. So that's what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for the long right around here. I'll be looking for just maybe a scalp bounce right around the point of control. And really, if we made it down here, it just doesn't make much sense symmetrically that we would find a bounce here that would take us up to all-time highs. But these are all areas that I've been looking for bounces: 67,932, 70,650, 65,934, also 65,729. So mark those areas out in your calendar and just be an observer. Stack some statistics, see what the reaction is. If the reaction is we slice right through, do we come back for a back test? Because one of these reasons why I give you these levels, because these are decision levels. These are reactionary levels. This isn't necessarily for you just to blindly take along. This might be something we slice through, and when we come and we back test it as resistance because it didn't provide support, then this would be advantageous for a short. But be aware that there's some support coming in right here. And Perhaps this is where you keep going, maybe the little shoulder, head, and shoulder, inverse shoulder, head, and shoulder. But these are the areas that I'm looking at. These are the things that I'm looking at, right? Be aware that this week coming up, not next week, March 27th, we do have the options expiry. A lot of open interest. These levels work like magnets, so be aware of that. I would highly suggest you guys go on this Deribit now by Coinbase. You can see where the larger traders are sitting with the calls and puts, and remember that Bitcoin is a big boys game now. This isn't just something that you're looking at on Binance. This is something you have to weigh to the CME. This is something that you're looking at on the options. But I'll tell you this, that it does exist, the opportunity where you can break free and buy your time back. I truly and truly believe that. And I do have mentors in this game who have shown me that it's possible. And I too am sitting in a house that I purchased primarily from this game. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert, but I am here to guide with you, and I am trading real money in this market with you. So with that, good luck. It's Sunday. Do your research. We'll be here Monday, trading live all week and giving weekly updates, growing, flowing. We will go through this. We will grow through this, and I'll see you guys next time.